Hey everyone, Paul Toddkill here. I am so excited because I'm sitting down with the commissioner of the West Coast Conference, Gloria Nevarez, to talk about West Coast Conference, esports, League of Legends, all that good stuff. First and foremost, welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
So, my first question has to be, looking at the broader ecosystem, looking at, sports and esports together, how do you think esports fits in with college athletics?
That's the number one question we get. And for the West Coast Conference, one, think about our geographic footprint. Our home office is in the hub of Silicon Valley, right by SFO. All of our membership are up and down the West Coast. And many of our schools have started educational program, if not gaming teams, but educational programs, learning labs surrounding esports as a business, as a profession. So it really does make sense for us to explore this new competitive horizon.
Well, we're obviously very excited to have you. And obviously, you talk about these new careers and all this kind of stuff coming out in the world of esports. But what opportunities do you think that esports offers for these students?
Well, for us, another question is why the West Coast Conference? Because we're such a ball and stick outdoor type, traditional athletic league. But what we bring is the ability to host league play. We do that well. And students of all, sizes and shapes celebrate the rivalries, celebrate their alma maters, whether it's through band and cheer, whether it's through pep groups, and, whether it's through sports teams. And so this is actually a natural fit when it comes to structure and ancillary events that accompany the rivalries and the traditions around college sports.
I could not agree more because speaking to these students, it's been a while when we're doing collegiate esports. They are as much a fan of the school as any fan sitting in the stand at a football game or watching any of that. So these esports fans or these players as well are just as hungry to fight for their schools. And looking at that though, do you think that the college conference model can offer anything different for these esports competitors, or do you think it's just trying to bring them into your existing system?
That was a very important conversation with our presidents when we talked about venturing into this space because it had to match our culture and mission and values and ethics. So inclusion is very important. Equity of opportunity is very important. Sportsmanship. I mean, everybody loves to trash talk, even on, traditional sports, but you got to keep it within the lines that represent the WCC values. And I think that's the special opportunity here that if you're representing your league, your school, your alma mater, you are conforming to those principles. And I just love the idea that we can bring that to the space that we are controlling.
Giving it that structure, giving it that stability is super important. And to somebody who's involved with any key as well, which has been a big thing that we're involved with collegiate esports, that equity and of course positivity as well. I'm all for that. So glad to hear that's something that you guys are making a priority. And obviously these are conversations that are happening now. Especially in looking, given the current situation and going forward, this I think is going to be a conversation that more and more schools and more conferences are having. What are your aspirations for collegiate esports? I know it's a broad question, but if you're an ideal world, how would you integrate it and where do you see it going in the future?
Whew, yeah, big question. You're probably more qualified than me to answer that because I will just fess up. I'm familiar with gaming, but not near what these young people are. And frankly, I think they're going to dictate the direction and future. And this first year was a beta test for us, and we were overwhelmed with the interest, the passion, the enthusiasm, and frankly, the viewership. So we are going to continue to explore and build. And honestly, I think the participants in the schools are going to lead the way for us. I mean, we have schools like LMU that have invested 150,000 in a facility. I mean, we strive for excellence in our athletic programs, and very quickly, I think you're going to see that same competitive vibe coming through our esports programs. There isn't a school in our league that doesn't have a team, and again, they're at different levels depending on the interest of the student body, but they're all growing quickly. So I'm glad we're out in front. I'm glad we're at the beginning of this, and I just hope we can continue to explore and wrangle. COVID has interrupted pretty much everything we're doing,
Yeah.
but we had a gaming at home challenge because just like our regular sports, I think it's important that the students have an opportunity to come together and connect over something that isn't, how are we dealing with COVID?
I think that sense of community is huge. And I sat down and I got a chance to interview a lot of the players from those schools, and knowing that just because they were separated physically, they couldn't be together on some of these amazing campus facilities, like you mentioned, the fact that they could still come together and compete, put their stamp on this little season we were able to finish for them. I know they were super excited about it, and we are really excited to see what the West Coast Conference, what you guys can continue to do in this space. Obviously, we are a huge supporter of it, and we cannot wait to see. Thank you so much for sitting down for this interview, and good luck with everything going forward.
Thank you so much, and appreciate all you do for our coverage and exposure, because I think that's really important for this sport.
Thank you very much.